So, is there a way the concept of spirit, soul, and body relates to some concepts like consciousness, identity, nature of reality?
Well, what I can say is, like in our previous episode, for us to know, maybe you need to explain to the audience first what these concepts are, so that my answers are aligned to that.
Okay, consciousness in a way of, you see how you can be doing something and in your mind you're fully aware this might be wrong or this might be right. Like there's that third sense as if.
Yeah.
Then identity is like who people perceive you to be, who you are. And nature of reality would be, you have your certain beliefs, but what does the reality say? Yeah, so how would spirit, soul, and body connect to any of these?
Well, that's a deep question. So, one thing we need to understand is that life, that consciousness is actually a proof of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what this means is, where your consciousness lies is where you are alive. For example, if you're not born again, your consciousness is in your body, it's in your soul. So your soul is alive. Okay? But when you become born again and become saved, your consciousness becomes in the spirit. Okay?
Yeah.
So now that you're conscious in the spirit, your soul is dead. That is why we are dead with Christ. That's the belief. Is that when you become born again, the old man dies and the new man comes alive. What that basically means is that the consciousness of your old nature has to die so that the consciousness of your new nature comes alive. So that's one place of consciousness. Identity, well, in the spirit, we are all identified by our spirits. So you can know, in the spirit, nothing is hidden. So your spirit man is who identifies you in the spirit realm, as well as in the physical realm. Your body is what identifies you. So we get to know where you are because of where your body is. And what was the other one?
Nature of reality.
Yes. So since we
Okay, so how does the concept of spirit, soul, and body connect to other concepts like consciousness, identity, and nature of reality?
Well, maybe you should first explain to the audience or our listeners what these three mean, so that we don't assume everyone understands.
Okay, so for consciousness, it's like that third person you usually get when you're doing something either wrong or right, but usually when you're doing something wrong, it comes and tells you, this might be very wrong. Then for identity is who you are physically. what people perceive you as. Then when I come to nature of reality, it's basically what people think. What is the order of the world? You get? Yeah.
Well, for consciousness, I must say something, maybe what people may not know yet, is that consciousness is actually proof of life. For example, people deem someone dead because they are no longer conscious. And it's the same thing even to the soul. If your soul you're no longer conscious of what your soul man is doing, we can say that your soul is dead. And if you're not conscious of what your spirit is doing, then your spirit is dead. So that is what ideally happens when we get born again, is that man as is before he's born again, their spirit is dead. But then when you get born again, your spirit is made alive, and the requirement is that you mortify the flesh, which is to lose consciousness of what your flesh desires, as well as what your soul desires, so that the consciousness of the spirit is what flows through your soul and your body. In that way, when people look at you, they will see a spirit alive. So that is in the bit of consciousness. And then when it comes to identity...
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry. So does this mean consciousness is really the soul?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Consciousness is a state of being. It's not a thought, or it's not something you analyze. It is a state. So, for example, in your body, if you're asleep, you're unconscious. Your consciousness is not. You're literally dead in the body.
Okay, that makes
sense. That is why they don't. That's why you see, when Christ was talking about Lazarus, he did not say he was dead. He was saying he's asleep, because it is a state of consciousness that your body has switched off, but you still have two other states that are awake.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes,
So,
I understand you.
So that becomes consciousness, that it's a state of being alive. It's a state of being aware.
Okay.
So the moment you accept a consciousness, it is what you bring into reality. So, for example, this is for the reality point that you're asking about, that your soul man has a reality, your body has a reality, and your spirit also has a reality. So if I choose that, okay, according to the word, God blessed me with this and God blessed me with that, and I grab onto that reality, I have to force my mind, which is my soul, to align with that reality. And then if I also align my body to that reality, it's inevitable. It will have to happen. So the reason most people have such fluctuating lives is that they have mixed realities. Yeah, they have mixed realities. So their spirit is saying something else, their soul believes something else, so is their body, which leaves them in a state of confusion, stress, and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for identity, how would it relate to spirit, soul, and body?
Well, identity, like I said, the three separate entities are what you're identified by. Because we have identified that in the spirit, the person that operates there is your spirit man. In the soul, and there are beings that are in the soul realm. As much as people may not understand that your thoughts are not simply these, they are not nothing. They are actually beings and very much alive. Like your thoughts are very much alive, and there are beings that can attack your thought life. There are beings that can affect your emotions, that can affect your intellect. That's why you find some people run mad, some people are under emotional, attacks, because there are beings that dwell in that realm. And then in the physical realm as well, I meet your body, I can know that, okay, this is Fancy. But also to show that the soul has a body, it's that if I find a thought, there are certain thoughts that, let's say someone says something, and I'm like, this is how Fancy thinks. It means
your soul is given identity.
Your soul has been given identity. That kind of thought is for people like Fancy. Yes. So your soul can be embodied in your thoughts and emotions, and you can know people by how they think, how they feel, how they behave. And then you can also identify people by their spirit. So that is more of the spirit dimension, which we shall delve deeper maybe on another episode. But yeah, that's briefly that.